Hello, beautiful being. Welcome back to my channel, Ripples by Gia. If this is your first time tuning in, I support you in evolution of your consciousness and anchoring all that wisdom in your beautiful portal, your vessel, your body. Now, the formalities are out of their way. I have to say that there's been a lot of technical interferences while I've been trying to record these episodes. I don't know what's going on. This is like my 12th attempt. So hopefully it's all smooth from here and I don't get interrupted because I'm telling you, I'm at the edge. If this doesn't record, I may not record. So, in divine protection, let's start. If this is your first time tuning in, you'll notice I'm really unhinged. I'm raw. I don't like to script things and present them, in the ideal way. I do it my way, which is just straight up wisdom. And the reason why I've jumped onto today's episode is to actually discuss the topic of arguing. I recently noticed that I do have opinions, of course, but I don't tend to correct people anymore, and I don't tend to argue. Now, if you went back 10 years ago when I was a teenager, I loved, I loved to argue. I loved to argue. Like, I loved talking back. I loved correcting my parents, especially. I loved putting people in their place. And if you're tuning on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, you may not see, but I just did air quotes there, correcting them, because they're wrong, I'm right. I did a lot of arguments growing up, a lot. I always fought for myself. I took a stand. I was always out of breath. It was really depleting. And now, as I'm a more wiser adult, I could give a shit. I honestly, I don't even care to argue. Like, if you're saying something with passion, I'm just gonna let you be with it. Even though I may feel different, I'm just gonna let you roll with it because I just don't care to argue. And then when I realized that, I was like, oh, that's a shift. That's a massive shift. Where is that coming from? So, of course, I tuned in, I reflect, like, when did that switch happen for me where I stopped arguing and satisfying the ego constantly? And I came to a conclusion, of course, I had to write it down all in my notes here on my phone because I didn't want to forget anything. Um, the reason why I don't care to argue anymore, especially after my spiritual awakening and, all the experiences I've had, it's because honestly, everyone's right. If you truly think about it from their perspective, they're right. They're not wrong. And everything is not meant to be corrected. It's meant to flow. When we feel like we know better and we try to solve the problem or have someone agree with our truth, we actually cause our own suffering. If we just allowed someone to flow without correcting them and interfering, we would allow the divine to take over and flow through this person or to this person with grace, and they would flow into their purpose. It's when, as a society or any authority figure, interferes to correct because we or they may feel like, this certain individual is wrong and I have to save them, I have to protect them, I have to jump in and correct them. It's actually when we slow things down for this individual. We slow their progress or evolution down. We actually don't uplift them. Fighting for what's right is different, but arguing because you believe something different versus the other individual, it's just to satisfy the ego that you are right. It's just satisfying your ego. It is not helping the evolution of yourself or that individual. And I think the best example I have here is parents, right? How often do parents feel that my child is on the wrong path. I have to save them. I know better. I'm older, I'm mature, I'm wiser. But at the end of the day, the child does whatever the child wants to do. The child, 90% of the time, doesn't even listen because they're here for their own journey. They're here for their own individual experiences, and their mindset and their beliefs are going to shape out and mold their personality, mold their character, to say per Matrix terms, so they can achieve their destination that they are destined for. And when we start interfering, we cause roadblocks. We go, no, no, no. If you're not religious, get religious. You're wrong for being in this relationship. Don't cut your hair like that. Whatever it is, silly things, small things, big things, it could be anything, honestly. We put roadblocks, we slow them down. We basically take their energy and we focus it out into a different direction, which consumes the individual. And I remember growing up as a teenager, I always felt like I was in the wrong body, in the wrong family, born in the wrong era. I just felt like this is all wrong. Like I'm on a wrong timeline. And of course, now with the wisdom I have and the learnings and the teachings I've gone through, I understand now that when we do interfere to satisfy our ego, we redirect someone's energy. So actually what we do is we redirect their timeline. We either slow it down or we speed it up, or we just completely hijack it and put them on a different timeline. And that kept happening to me as a teenager. And I kept arguing and arguing and arguing because I felt like I had to fight for myself and fend for myself because I didn't believe what my parents believed. Nothing was right or wrong. That's the interesting part too, as I have this awareness now. Nobody's ever right or wrong. They just have their own perspective, their own lens on where they're scanning life through. And they're digesting and processing things to best of their ability. And of course, it's being filtered through their experiences, their opinions, their environment, their upbringing, whatever that is. But it's all being processed through their lens and the frequency they hold. So arguing is actually such a waste of, I would say, my personal resources, like my energy, my time, my mental health, also physical health. Because when you're in a heated argument, especially, which I used to get into every day as a teenager, by the way, over clothes, over food, over everything. Um, God bless my parents. I don't know how they raised me, because I used to argue so much. I used to feel energetically depleted all the time, and I would compensate with food because I felt like I wasn't grounded. I felt like I needed energy all the time because I was directing so much energy in arguments and to prove I'm right. And I was putting so much energy into being a rebel and rebelling and constantly rebelling that I caused my own suffering. And some could even come back, play, back and forth with me saying that, Gia, didn't that shape the character you are today? Didn't that shape you as an adult? Yeah, it did. Sure, right? But it was depleting. And I wish someone had told me that you don't have to prove your point. You can just live it. You can just live your belief systems. You can just silently shut your mouth and do what you want to do. And you don't have to announce everything. So it can cause the fight that you're looking for. So you can prove a point to mom and dad. I wish someone had told me that. And this is exactly why I've noticed parents that give their children the most freedom, those children do the best. And they actually have a better relationship with their authority figure, which is the parent in this case, is because they feel safe, they feel welcomed, they don't feel out of box, they feel like they belong, right? Which keeps you on your timeline because, again, you're not wasting your resources trying to do something else, trying to strive for something else. And this is why I think arguments are such a waste of life force energy because there's no way you can argue to a point where someone will adopt your belief system. The best way actually to convince someone that there's an alternative choice, whatever the situation may be, is for you to just live it. It's for you to just live it. So that is my spiritual perspective on why arguing hijacks you, number one, depletes you, and it's just causing suffering. It's doing nothing and it interferes with others. It truly does. And I can see why now a lot of, if you go into more ancient Eastern history, a lot of priests, temples, I know a lot of Buddhist monks do this. They do like a fast of silence where they stay silent for a certain amount of hours, days, months, and they call it the Mon Vart. That's how we say it in my language. And Mon basically means to shut your mouth, like silence, which I actually considering to do myself, simply because just to filter out the inner noise. Like, where am I filling gaps with words that are not needed? Where am I justifying myself or others where it's not needed? You know, where am I just putting energy where it's not needed? So doing a water fast, that's great for the physical body, but doing a Mon Vart, which is a silent fast, is great for your overall health, I would say, and for deep meditative reflection. So I may put myself to a test and do it one day. And I don't know how long I'll last. Let's see, actually. I think I'm up for the challenge. And I will definitely come back here and let you know when I do it and how it went for me. But truly, if you are out there trying to prove your point right now to people, there's no point. Just live it. Just live your belief system instead of draining your adrenals, pretty much. Right. And just, I want to end this on a reflection. Just reflect when you do try to prove your point, and let's just say it gets proven. It gets proven. People are convinced, they adapt, whatever. How do you feel after? Do you feel like you're on top of the world? Do you feel good when you're right? Or does it do nothing for you? You just feel tired, like shit, like that took forever. How do you feel when you are right? It's a good reflection point. Because if you feel proud of yourself, which is great, I'm not bashing you here. We're all human. We all love to be validated, right? We all love to be seen. But are you feeling pride from the ego? Or are you truly feeling happiness and contentment because you feel like you improved something for yourself or the individual? Where is the happiness coming from? So it's also something to look into. And I think I'm going to leave this one right here. It's short and sweet this week. I've been a busy bee. I was out in BC all of last week, Vancouver, Canada, those of you don't know. And I'm just settling back in this week. So you can definitely look forward to having weekly podcasts out like this, some long, some short. If there are certain topics you'd like me to discuss, definitely let me know in the comments, like, subscribe, and share. You can always DM me on Instagram as well, Ripples by Gia. And oh yeah, before I forget, I would like to also leave a note that I have started a Substack account. It's free right now. I think I'll leave it free because I just like to create. Honestly, I'm just an artist at heart. And I've been writing, I have 3 posts right now on there on how to bridge spirituality being in corporate, how to maintain your spiritual gifts while being in corporate. And I just did a piece on when you travel for work in corporations, how you can do spiritual hygiene while you are there. So definitely check that out. The link is below for my Substack as well. I love you all so much from the bottom of my heart. I am so grateful that you continue to tune in and grab the wisdom that you need. And I love you all so much. Keep thriving. We came here to thrive, not just to survive.